Welcome back to Nasdaq Trade Talks. I'm your host, Jill Malandrino, global markets reporter at Nasdaq. Joining me at the market site in Times Square, we have Matthew Rozek. He's a co-founder and chairman of Block. And we're here for New York City Blockchain Week and to talk about Crypto Spring. Matt, it's great to have you, as always, with us at market site. All right, let's talk about New York City Blockchain Week. This is a marathon for everyone that's in town this week.
Indeed, and great to see you again, Jill. New York Blockchain Week is a bit of a zoo. It's almost like taking your kids to Disney during spring break. You either have to be crazy or very dedicated, and Consensus is the biggest. It's the grand opus of the industry. So everybody shows up to New York, and there's other conferences and unconferences and gatherings. So it's worthwhile. You hit many fish in the barrel here.
What about the content that's been coming out of the conferences? Because I can tell you from my coverage, the quality has certainly escalated from to 2019 from 2018.
Yeah, last year there was like double the number of people at Consensus. It's about half, a lot more breathable. A lot of the tourists are gone. A lot more coming out of this crypto winter. You see a lot more dedicated builders, more pragmatic investors trying to figure out what the next stage is going to look like.
All right, now Crypto Spring, we're coming out of the winter. What do you think in terms of going into spring?
Yeah, it feels good. You know, Bitcoin basically doubled since the beginning of the year, and everybody's talking about Bitcoin, and there's like this remaximalization of Bitcoin. People are thinking about Bitcoin as a store of value. People are looking at building on Bitcoin, so we're seeing a lot of new technologies for payments and smart contracting being thought of again on Bitcoin. So that's always positive and helpful. Then I come kind of thinking, where does that come from, like all this demand? And you see some data points over the last few months between Square buying $65 million through their Cash App in the first quarter of this year. You see continued progress from Fidelity. Backed, the New York Stock Exchange has a play in this space, E-Trade, Ameritrade. So it's not maybe one single thing, but it's like a constellation of 12, 15 different data points that are kind of ushering in this crypto spring.
Right, and it's great for the space that you're in because you're building enterprise infrastructure to support these larger efforts. This is when you start talking about the institutional adoption. So tell us more about Block's platform.
So coming out of the crypto winter, in many ways, that's when it gets really quiet. People stop talking about things. Gives you time to build, invest, and hire. And having gone through 3 or 4 of these, that's the best kind of muscle memory you gather from that. And so we've been very busy building new tech, new platforms. One of which is Block Cloud, which is in many ways like a Twilio for blockchain. So a lot of data and data services for companies to engage in these tokenized networks. We also launched Titan Mining, which makes mining of cryptocurrencies much easier, much more operationally efficient and financially viable. And then we continue to do more and more with Metronome, which is a new novel cryptocurrency. We just finished the cross-chain implementation, so you can move your Met from one blockchain to another. So staying extremely busy and no shortage of things to do. We're still, despite Bitcoin doubling, the whole market cap being about $250 billion, we're still relatively in the stone ages of crypto, and we have a long way to go.
I'm glad you brought that up because this does take time and patience. And I think when you have investors coming into this market, they almost expect it to be a plug and play like into equity market structure, which is old and has been evolved. And it will take time for digital assets to get to that point. So I think patience is really key here.
Absolutely. And I think the other piece that the crypto and Bitcoin space misses sometimes with institutional investors in this zip code is that they're not really understanding of the Web3 and maybe distributed compute and storage and some of the more esoteric things that are getting built, wildly important trillion-dollar networks. And so I think over the near term, we're going to see this arc of STOs, security token offerings, meaning traditional assets that institutional investors understand, hotels, shopping centers, bars of gold, cap tables, will be tokenized. And that's not the really big deal. The big deal there is all the infrastructure is different. So new wallets, new exchanges, new custody platforms to hold that. And then secondly, the belief is there's going to be better price discovery, better liquidity of these assets. So we'll see how that evolves. But that STO dynamic will also help usher in all the other crypto projects and crypto platforms that take longer to get to market.
Seems like there's a big desire for standardization. here?
Yeah, I mean, standardization in tech is always a thing, and you
Right.
want that. I think you evolve into standardization after a lot of trial, error, frustration, and then you get there. And so we're still in that early phase. There's lots of blockchains. There's like 2,000 assets on crypto and CoinMarketCap. So we have a way to go to see the market consolidate, but we're still early.
All right, thank you so much, as always, for joining me at MarketSite. And thanks for joining us on Trade Talks. I'm Joe Malandrino, Global Markets Reporter at Nasdaq.